Yo, I'm trying not to get emotional. So the other day I went bike riding with Kennedy, and it was a tough day for me. Just in general, it was like attack after attack, and yes, I was really overwhelmed by a lot that day. So there were two things that were on my heart to do. To bond with Kennedy. I know it's something that she had been wanting to do, and I had been wanting to do it with her, but it was like, it wasn't easy to do. I'll put it like that. Like I was waiting for certain things to fall in place or to happen before I would, do certain things so it could be easier and more enjoyable. But again, once I had gotten out of my way of how I thought it should happen, and decided to do what was necessary in order for Kennedy to feel prioritized, then breakthrough really was allowed to happen. So getting back to the story, Friday, there was a lot going on, but I had made up in my mind that I was going to take Kennedy to the goat farm. And because we're having issues with our car right now, this meant that I would have to ride the bike. Now, this is a longer ride than our usual ride. Forgive me, I'm shaking. I'm like really shaking from this, but it's crazy. This was a longer ride, and I knew that it wouldn't be easy. However, I set aside my need to feel like ready or whatever was stopping me from doing it, and just said I'm gonna do it for Kennedy. So we rode our bikes up to the goat farm on Friday. When we came back, I couldn't find my license. And I knew that I had lost it because I had took it with me before we left. So the fact that I didn't have it with me when we got back, I knew that I had lost it on the ride. And I just felt like, oh, there ain't no way I'm gonna be able to find that thing. The house was actually in an uproar at the time because again, there was so much going on and I was just overwhelmed by a lot. And this was adding to what I was already going through. So at this point I was just like done, but there was nothing I could do. I knew I had taken it with me and I knew we hadn't found it. So at the time that I found out, it was time for us to leave to go to this game night for Kennedy. So I went, but at the same time I'm kind of distracted because I'm like, I'm here because I don't want to let anything get in the way of this for her, because I want to do this for her. But at the same time, mentally I'm not there because my mind is in all these different places. My home is in uproar. I just lost my license, which I just got, yeah, just all these other different things that are weighing on my heart and on my mind. And so I'm pushing through, trying to be present for her, doing enough to show up really for her to not have to be negatively impacted by what I'm going through, at least not much anyway, because I am human. I understand that I do need to process things just like anyone else and everyone else, So I was trying to still show up for her and be strong for her, and to just like not pay too much attention to everything that was going on that was trying to steal my, distract me or steal my joy and all of that. But anyway, we came back from the game night and still couldn't find the ID after cleaning up. A couple of days went by, I still didn't find it, and so I just knew then that it was just lost, it was gone. Well, a couple of people who had found out about it had joined with me in prayer that it would be found. And I'm thinking to myself, I know I lost this license, like I know it happened outside of the home, so really me finding it's kind of outside of the question. However, as soon as I said that, the Spirit put in my heart that it was going to be brought to me because my address was on it, right? Like the first thing that came to mind was, oh snaps, my address is on it. And so before I started panicking and thinking like, oh, somebody gonna know where I'm gonna live, the thought came that my license would actually be delivered back to my door because it had my address on it. And so it's like, all right, cool. I kind of left it at that. Well, yesterday we decided we went to ride our bikes again, and I said, how about we just go back up the trail to see if we could find it again. And so we did that. Well, we didn't find it. And so I said, you know what? It's either lost. Well, I had peace about it. I wasn't really like bothered or moved by it too much because again, I kind of knew I wasn't going to find it, but at the same time, I remember what God spoke to my spirit about someone coming to return it to me because it had my address on there. So yeah, I kind of just left it at that. Didn't think much more of it. So Kennedy was actually kind of sad. She said, I'm sad because you're not happy. You're sad because we didn't find your license. And I said, no, sweetie, I'm not sad. I had already made peace about, losing it and the fact that this was my fault because I should have put it someplace more secure a couple days ago. And also I made peace with the fact that God said it's going to be delivered. So I have to let it go in order for him to, do his part, or else I'm going to allow, those emotions and those thoughts and those regrets and that whatever, those accusations to hold me up and just cause me to lose focus and lose peace and delay everything. So I said, no, sweetie, I'm not sad about that. I'm actually happy because you're happy and we got to do something that you want to do, which was ride the bikes. So I'm happy that we accomplished that. She's like, okay, well, I just got out of my quiet time with God, and I'm coming downstairs to make me and Kennedy smoothies, and I stopped to open up the blinds, right? And then as I'm walking down the steps, I noticed something is in the crack of the door. And it's almost like you can't really tell, it looks like just a light, but I'm like, no, that looks unusual. So when I turn around to look closer, I see that it's my license. So somebody did exactly what God was telling me they were gonna do. They found my license and they brought it to my door. And when I tell you, I'm just like really all done. I'm just really like mind blown, because one of the benefits of being a follower of Christ and a believer is that you do get advance notice for things or concerning things. Like God will literally speak to you in advance. If you seek him, he says it in his word in Jeremiah 33:3. He says, call to me and I will answer you and show you great and unsearchable things that you don't know. So being a believer comes with the benefit of receiving notice about things before they happen, right? And so while I was surprised at this, and even now I'm kind of like speechless, a part of me isn't because God said this was going to happen, so it happened just as he said it would. But also, it's just like every time he does it, it never ceases to amaze me, y'all. Like, I just cannot believe how real God is. I can believe it, but it's just like, it leaves me speechless at times when he does these things. And so just wanted to record this because number one, I was looking forward to this. I knew this was going to happen, but I was also ready because I was like, I'm going to record it and use it as a testimony of just God's faithfulness, him keeping his word. It's a reflection of everything else, every other promise. He's going to deliver and come through just like he said he was. So it doesn't matter what it looked like. So many days had passed since me finding my license. And I had even gone back on the trail that I was on that day, that I took that day when I had lost it and still didn't find it. So I'm thinking like, somebody found it, they should have either returned it by now, or they just took it and they're not going to return it, right? Because it's right up the street. It ain't like it's far. So the fact that it didn't happen according to what made sense to me, or the timeline that made sense to me, I, could have assumed like, okay, I guess it's just not going to happen. And I won't lie, that temptation did come up like, okay, maybe you just have to replace it. And I had even told Kennedy, like, sweetie, however it turns out, God is going to make the way, be it me having to get another one or, somebody returning it. But again, I had already heard in my spirit and felt in my spirit that somebody would return it. So I'm just recording this. Again, it's just one of those awestruck, jaw-dropping moments of God's goodness and his faithfulness being made evident in my life. And it just came at the perfect timing because I am believing him for some things right now that seem late. But I'm just so glad to know that through this, as a reminder, he is faithful and he will provide right on time. So I just hope this encourages someone who hears that in some type of way. I just want to share the goodness of God that I'm experiencing in my life with others so that they can be encouraged and inspired too. So yeah, till next time, y'all. God bless.